Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, friends. It's time for a little Star Trek Lower Decks, specifically Season 5, Episode 8, Upper Decks. Now, there's a lot of jokes to be made at that title's expense, but I'll leave that to others as I am still a little too tired to give them. Friends, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel, and it allows me to alert you next time we go live with any of our sci-fi fare. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you'd like earlier in its full-length format, the link to the Patreon's in the description. But all that's then. This is now, and now it's time for us to watch Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 5, Episode 8, Upper Decks. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction. And away we go! Desperately need the coffee this morning. Oh, amazing.
Will someone please explain why we are mutilating gourds?
It's an ancient Earth tradition for a holiday called Halloween.
Mutilating gourds.
Check it out. Oh, look at the little serene.
Away mission. We were supposed to study a calcified forest on Malman 5, but then we got trapped in a painting.
What? No way.
What?
It turned into a whole big epic escape. I got to ride a rainbow.
Oh, man, I've always wanted to get stuck into a painting.
We need a season of them showing us this stuff.
But they're no Janeway, Kirk, or Cisco, you know?
Yeah, our guys mostly spend their time doing paperwork instead of carving V'ger.
The creator must join with V'ger.
I guess I'll know that reference soon.
You know, it's kind of funny. We're sort of the stars of the show around here. The commanders seem to just fade into the background.
Yep, without us lower deckers, there'd be nothing to see.
Watch the camera will take off onto them.
Full schedule on the old to-do list, Captain.
I never get a day off, do I?
No.
Now we're gonna follow them. Yep.
Nothing would ever happen around here without the bridge crew.
Love it. So we're gonna finally have an episode that features what really goes on the Cerritos, you know, not necessarily the away missions or like at the front lines of science. Now we're gonna see, or I guess it is the front lines of science, where the command and everything is dictated and not the missions carried in. And interesting. So who's the favorite upper decker then? Who's the favorite bridge crew member? I don't really know for myself, to be honest. I think Kayshawn has some of the greatest lines ever, and I don't even understand most of how that works. But I just love like the references, and you can kind of glean what they mean by it, you know, like stabbed by his mistress. I love shit like that. You know, I forget the guy's name. It's like Harold when he was stabbed by his mistress. I love that stuff. But I guess my favorite, I mean, Ransom's awesome. I hated him at first, but I absolutely love him now. I have mixed feelings about Shax. I love the character. I sort of think it would have been better and more poignant if they had let him expire when he did. I don't know, just for the story. I do love Carol, too. I think she's a great captain, with the exception of the time she turned on Mariner. I still remember that, Carol.
4, Officer Barnes has almost recovered from her transformation.
Oh my God, Barnes.
We've had some complaints about your pain management.
Who squealed?
Just please brush up on your anesthetics. Security.
Mosaro, when the lake was smooth.
All calm.
The who?
They're the insectoid species that hate being complimented. Wonder what they're mad about now.
Maybe someone gave them a birthday present.
Whoa.
Are you feeling okay? Mr. Stack, what is going on over there?
Oh, Jesus.
Requesting a day off. Effective immediately.
Okay.
Righty.
Hopefully the Starfleet ecologists can sort it out.
Make sure he gets whatever he needs. I don't want those things defecating all over the hull.
I don't have them shitting on the ship.
If there's nothing else...
Bring it in, everyone.
Strong and brave, wise and true. That's what makes us Cerritos crew.
Yeah!
What? They have a cheer? What?
First officer's log. When a specialist visits the ship, I like to make sure they feel like they have our full support.
Nice.
It can't hear you. It's in space.
Just track the one in space.
Space cows.
Take that back. I'm not friendly. Oh, it worked too well. We got an asteroid incoming. Look out!
Dear God.
Whoa! Yeah! What the heck?
A natural cloaking ability.
Huh, they use their hide to hide.
It's rolling.
To impress her. I couldn't beat Big Wave Tommy because he was king of the beach.
It took a lot of Norse shredding, but once you get your
First off, this team Delta Shift is awful, if that's the case. I mean, they're really bad.
I don't care how many times you come back to haunt me. I'll never let you win. You can't fight me. Because I am you.
You see that, the scar. Is this a result of him coming back? Or is this just like PTSD?
As time passes, I grow stronger, while you get older and fade away.
Whoa.
To control you, I have to control myself. That's stupid. Hit me!
Come on, Shax. We need more of this. Like...
Commander, are you busy?
Just monitoring plasma flow. What's up, Benson?
I've got a non-functional indicator light behind panel 785. You mind if I go ahead and make the repair?
Oh, sounds simple enough.
Cut to terribly unsimple.
Sir?
Whoa!
We have to disable their power source or an overload could cascade back to the warp core.
Are you sure you can't?
Billups living his best life.
Everybody dies, but it's the engineers who really get to live.
Well, Billups is in the perfect
Chief
position.
Medical Officer's log. I should be focusing on my work, but I...
Oh, someone woke up on the nasty side of the bed today.
Spare me your Westlake.
Nobody else is going to put up with you, honey.
Westlake. I love him already.
We have to update the pain chart.
What are you doing?
You're gonna me up so I can feel some pain.
No.
What?
Yeah, now shut up and rearrange my guts. Come on, turn up the
What? I like how she still has like a monobrow from her de-evolution evolution.
affected by your protruding brow.
Multi-purpose room fertility event.
My first thought was, I hope the captain attends my fertility event.
I honestly didn't even know you weren't human.
I get that all the time.
Time!
Here we go!
What?
Stay,
Act 7, the Oberth year. The Manticore was known as one of the fleet's fun ships, but it's hard to have fun when you go from...
Okay, that's a ship. Good episode so far. We could have probably used an upper deck episode each season.
Our creature study has gone a little sideways.
We got 2 more incoming!
They want the rock, everybody.
Great idea pulling a rock in here. Now we can't keep him away.
What are you talking about, bro? You had the same idea!
I wonder, is it like an egg or something? Food?
But occasionally, I have to resort to Plan B.
It's just him flexing.
Physical fitness clears the mind.
Oh, yeah. Those tubes are connected to a half-ass coil relay. I must have been distracted.
A half-ass coil relay.
What's an AI defense golem?
Oh, it's an artificial construct. Whoa!
Oh, there it is.
Force a reboot by holding down its power button while telling a sad story from your childhood that demonstrates human emotion.
One time when I was a kid, my dad took me to the beach and we saw a dead fish.
That's not sad enough.
This is insanity. Insanity. There you go. You snapped the evil spirit's neck.
But what will you do against all your victims? All the Cardassian warriors getting their revenge.
This is awful. Man, I really like to see what Shax did back then. They're making Ransom silly in this one. A little disappointing.
Oh, your face fell off. Do you need medical assistance?
Silence, fool!
You're not from Starfleet.
Is this one of those things that you can't compliment? Oh, Jesus, God almighty, how's that gross?
You're why they've been so agitated.
Your plan can't be to take control on your own.
Come on, Carol.
My infiltrators are targeting your senior officers!
Holy shit. Come on, everybody. And at the end, we're going to cut back to the lower deckers being like, I mean, just nothing went on today. It was so boring.
See? You don't even know us! And we faced off before!
We have.
Thank you for coming to my recital. Ah! Sorry, I thought I saw some fire.
On your feet, Stevens.
Stevens! Carol's calling an audible.
No, you let all the coolant out. It's okay. This is how all engineers want to go. At work, In a tube.
I can't let that happen.
Yeah, can we figure something out here?
What are you doing? That axe is for emergencies only.
What's your definition of an emergency? Ah! And I'll deactivate the magnetic constrictors while you cycle the reactor conduits.
Nice.
Deltas, take a left. On it.
Ransom. Oh, never mind. The Deltas apparently, they've got it.
Listen, us beta shifters don't like you delta shifters for all sorts of reasons.
Oh, okay, we got split shift.
How about we put aside our differences and work together to get these Bagoon under control just to spite us?
This is all part of Ransom's plan.
We need to get to the bridge.
The tube redirected the phaser or disruptor or whatever it is.
One more step and you'll feel pain like you've never felt before.
You called?
That was set to kill.
So am I.
And scene.
There we go. Everybody's getting in on the act, but I'm bum. Anybody else? Any other necks need a snapping? Amazing. Is this like Shax's daily struggle with his inner demons? I'm trying to take the
My
shit.
infiltrators have taken over every deck, Captain.
No.
I guess I have to compliment you on a successful invasion. You're amazing at subterfuge.
Stop!
What's happening?
You see, this is why you pay attention in the morning briefing.
Death by compliment.
You're handsome. You've got amazing breath. I love your work. I'm impressed with your whole vibe.
Your whole vibe!
And I respect that.
This is why you listen in the morning meetings.
There you go. Go home, big guy.
They noticed they tagged them. Hilarious.
Works every time. First officer's log.
Yep.
My grasp of the lower decker mind has proven to... carry on, Ensign.
I know you just pretend to be an idiot to trick us into getting along. No, I think it's cute. Plus, everyone thinks you're a doofus. Nobody would believe me.
Because I'm just that good at the job.
That's right. You're not bad, buddy. And again, I think that was probably a very dangerous learning experience, but...
I found a burned-out indicator light above the door. Could you help me with the repair?
Let's do this.
Phillips. Repair? I'm back. Recharged.
Yeah, it's my anniversary today. I was gonna try to have a nice long call with Admiral Freeman. I know little meetings with the crew seem inconsequential, but they're the most important part of being a captain. The Admiral will understand.
Oh my God, he's there.
Mr. Stevens reached out a month ago. Said he made sure to put some time on your schedule so I could surprise you with a romantic dinner. How was your day?
Alien invaders, chaos and engineering, Shaxx fighting demons. You know, just the usual.
Glad to hear you had it easy.
Stevens. Nice job, buddy.
I think I just heard someone say they fended off invaders. Did we miss something?
No way. Nothing ever happens if we're not involved.
Right.
Perhaps our commanders are the leads of their own stories when we are not observing them.
No way. We're...
Talin.
I saw Admiral Freeman and the captain getting trapped in a painting.
What? No way. Really?
No, I have made a joke at your expense. Boom.
Boom! Oh my God, Talin's the greatest. All right, everybody, we just got done watching Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, Episode 8, Upper Decks, and the only thing left to do is talk about it. All right, everyone, we just got done watching Upper Decks, the 8th episode of the 5th and final season of Star Trek Lower Decks. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. This was really cool. This is one of the ones now when you watch this and you see like the upper deckers, like what they do on their daily, that would have been something that would have been a great running gag. You know, maybe not in season 1 because, you know, there's so much going on in season 1. And plus, they had to be kind of like kept at arm's length for a bit. They had to be a mystery, like Carol especially, and like Shax. Well, I mean, the events of what happened to Shax, you had to keep them kind of removed. You couldn't really get into them. Billups was open all the time. The Dr. Tano wasn't, but I can understand their need to have them removed at least for season one. But I think it would have been cool for season two, maybe season three, to have one episode dedicated each season for the upper deckers. I think that would have been interesting to have like a carry through thread maybe through all of them. It would have been really, really cool to see like maybe some of the unexplained things that had happened in the Cerritos were actually like adventures by the bridge crew. I mean, again, we say this a lot about the creatives at Star Trek Lower Decks. The testament to them is anything that they do, you want more of. So you see the upper deckers and you're like, oh, there's like great stories that could have gone in through here. Especially I thought the one that was really Billups is really good because Billups is always just so interesting and he's such a kind person, and just always willing to do things and always willing to help out in any engineering problem, any problem. He's there. He'll do his best. If it's engineering, he's awesome. If it's anything else, he'll certainly try. And I initially the way that they had Ransom kind of work through the trouble that the beta and delta I didn't realize was split shift data our delta and beta shifters were doing was it was totally Ransom's way of doing stuff. I just don't like Ransom being considered. Ransom's a great officer. I mean, Ransom's really, really good, and I don't like him to be kind of assumed to be the doofus, like they actually overtly stated at the end. Oh, you're a doofus, no one would believe it. Dude, he's great. He's really, really good. I always harken back to kind of the first episode that we really got a lot about Ransom was the one where he and Mariner were stuck in that like battle pit and they had to decide who was going to go out and fight to the death. And they actually fought in the cage and he beat her and I hurt her so he could go out there and fight. That's when I really started to love Ransom and he's kind of reinforced that, I'll do anything for my crew mentality. This one was a little weird and the do anything for my crew part. Still, though, it was true to Ransom form to have him kind of like, basically like a seemingly eat shit and be awful at his job to actually be awesome at his job. I do think though that with a kind of like an alien invasion and an alien incursion happening, at this time, that was kind of a dangerous time to try one of your teaching methods. It's also time to revisit the whole Shax thing. What do you all think? If this is the end of Star Trek Lower Decks, then we can safely say, has Shax his continuation after his apparent death, has it benefited the show? Has it benefited the character? And I'm not saying that to be like I've already made up my mind. I actually haven't. I go back and forth quite a bit on the character of Shax and whether or not he was necessary narratively and whether or not his inclusion post his death was a betterment for the show or actually detracted from the show. What do you all think? I mean, for instance, like, I liked Shax has been awesome with certain scenes, when he was helping out Boimler, obviously when he was helping out Rutherford, the whole Bear Pack stuff. But I'm really kind of concerned. I'm not concerned really, but I'm not sure that it was that necessary. Let me put it to you this way. I think that when Kayshawn came in and was seemingly going to be the replacement for Shax, I'm not sure that any of that advancement for both Boimler and Rutherford, to be very honest, couldn't have been transferred narratively to Kayshawn. And I'm not sure it would have been any less effective. I mean, Shax is an imposing figure and, kind of getting on his good side seems like more of a triumph than would it be for Kayshawn. But again, Kayshawn, you have like, the language barrier and things like that. I think there are ways to kind of, manipulate the narrative of Shax and have it fit into a Kayshawn. Or even we talked about Jet, like Jet potentially taking over for the security, how that would have gone. I think that there are other characters that could have successfully navigated the waters narratively that Shax provided to specific members of the Lower Decks crew. Like any advancement in the story, I don't think that Shax was so important that we couldn't have advanced the story without him. That's terrible to say, but I'm trying to figure out whether or not that what was better, his death or his life? Isn't that awful? I mean, what do you all think? I talk myself into both of them all the time. I think what it is I default to liking the character of Shax. I like Shax. I like him being around. I think he's funny. He has really good lines. But then again, if you need an ass kicker, he's there. He's there, ready to go, ready and willing to get into any fight that you might come upon. But he provided a really kind of a good kind of mentor, fatherly figure. But again, I his death was so profound and shocked the absolute shit out of me when it happened. And it was so incredibly heroic when he shoved Rutherford out and then the explosion went off. It was just such a powerful moment that obviously was seriously. I mean, the heroism will always be there, but the ultimate sacrifice for the narrative kind of frame for the character was seriously compromised. And again, even if Shax were to die like in the next episode for good or something like that, it carries less weight, I think, narratively than it would have been if it had been that early. Where you're like, oh my God, anybody can die on the show, and I think that would have carried through the rest of the seasons, where you're constantly like, you're never feeling comfortable. Very much like The Expanse. When you're like, okay, when Shed is. So if you look at no spoilers, I hope, but when you look at the character of Shax, looking back on him, I think that would have provided a different tonal quality to the entirety of the series run to have that happen, because at no point then could we sit back and say, oh, okay, everybody's safe, we can make it, we don't have to worry about any of this going the wrong way. We absolutely would, because we would or we'd be forced to remember what had happened to one of the prominent characters in the first season. I don't know, but that's like my Shax tangent. I thought that was a good place for it. I thought Carol did a great job in this episode. Probably my favorite Carol episode for quite some time. I really like it when they allow Carol to really kind of flex. You know what I mean? I mean, she's a captain of a starship. I know that the Cerritos, they can say, oh, it's a support craft, it's this, it's that. California classes, yada, yada, yada. She is a Starfleet captain. And whenever she gets a chance to really show that off, like today, showing it off was her paying attention at all of these things, going to the music recital and having, Barnes willing to jump in there, thank you for coming to my recital, listening in the meetings. That's Carol's strength. Carol's strength is, and this is why I have one problem with Carol's character with the writers. Carol's strength is knowing her crew. It always has been and always will be. She knows her crew's strengths. She knows her crew's expectations, their limits, as well as she knows the limits, the expectations of the Cerritos itself. That's why and obviously the narrative play with Mariner is that's the one person she doesn't know. She can't get Mariner. That's why there's a conflict between the two of them. Whenever she turned on Mariner, oh, that was the worst. That was the absolute worst. Condemned her to Starbase 80. It forever soured the character in my mind, because here's the thing. It was a crazy, great narrative example of this character. Carol is not perfect by any stretch. She's very flawed, especially when it comes to her daughter. She does not know how to interact with her daughter. This is a terrible problem. And I think it's the revelation of that flaw, like the full-on spotlight display of that flaw, that is both amazing for character development and, like I said, leaves a sour taste in your mouth when you're like, Carol was like 5 minutes, had a 5-minute window away from being perfect. But that 5-minute window, that really brought her grade down from an A+ to, like, I don't know, right around a B-. It just really hurt her, overall performance in my eyes. However, as a character, she's fantastic because she's flawed. And those are the best characters. I don't need a squeaky clean, perfect character. That's what can we expect from them? Perfection. What else can we expect from them? Nothing. Having a flawed character gives us, definitely a little quicksandy walking on for expectations in the future. Because, like, again, just like with Shax's death, Carol's kind of imperfections are things that always kind of remain prevalent in your mind. But this was a very good episode to kind of remind us who we had up on the bridge, what they're capable of, what they can, what they have given to the show. That's why I think that some of the Lower Decker comments were hilarious. Like, they don't really do anything. They fade into the background whenever we're around, which is absolutely true. However, to think that they don't perform anything or give anything to the show is ludicrous. And that's why we had this episode. This, we don't necessarily see all these things that are going on the regular with these guys, but they are vital for the development not only of the Cerritos, but of our lower deckers, whether or not they see it. Friends, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel, and it allows me to alert you next time we go live with Star Trek Lower Decks or any of our sci-fi fare. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and now it's time to say goodbye. So where should we say goodbye from? Well, friends, I figured this one out very early in the episode. We should say goodbye from the morning meeting, because I don't know what happened. We were lower deckers just yesterday, and we've been invited into upper management's meeting here at the start of the day. So it's we're strangers in a strange land, but there we are. And for a moment, maybe our mindset is very similar to Mariners, that they don't really do anything. But then we get a peek behind the curtain of command, and we see the vital workings that the upper deckers give to the running not only of the Cerritos, but honestly, of our world entire. Friends, until we finish up this series with the penultimate and finale, Vulcan roll, and I'll see you.